This is a meal prep for those of us who do not like freezer meals. Yes, I know you're out there, or those who do not have time for making freezer meals from scratch. Like me today, I had planned to make these freezer meals on Saturday, but well, it's a good thing we have been invited for a party, and I'm not one to miss a party to be staying home and making freezer. And I need to meal prep enough meals to last us for 2 weeks, because it is what it is. So by meal prep, I mean I'm just going to prepare some ingredients. So if you're a person who does not like eating freezer meals, or maybe your people in your house want food cooked from scratch, or if you don't have time, this is what I would recommend you do. It's still sort of preparing your meals but not cooking them all the way. So here is what I am meal prepping today. Okay, I want to boil this dengu and just put them when they are boiled in my freezer. I want to boil these beans. I have 3 kgs of beans here and 3 kgs of cowpeas. Now for them to cook faster, as I say, this is not something I had planned to do, but for them to cook faster, I need to first soak them for 1 hour, boil them for 5 minutes, then soak them in that boiled water for 1 hour, and then I'll pour out that water and boil them afresh. Hopefully after that it'll take just an hour. It's the fastest way to do it. When I grow up, I'll get myself a pressure cooker, and that'll be good. Okay, for the other things that I need to do is I need to make a tomato sauce, basically one that I will be using to cook all the foods that I'm going to prepare. So I'm going to show you how I'm going to do that. I went to the market, I bought some fruits. I'll just prep those and put them in the fridge. I have some peas here, I have some carrots. I need to deal with all this. I have some parsley or dania and some tomatoes again for the aforementioned sauce. And for my meat this month or this week, I went to KMC and I wanted to buy, what do you call them? I wanted to buy minced meat to come and make meatballs. They were out of minced meat. However, they had their own pre-made meatballs. So I was like, I don't have a choice. Although I know if I'd have bought my own minced meat, I'd have gotten a lot more meatballs than this for the same price. But this beggar cannot be a chooser. And then I have 2 kgs of beef. What I want to do with the beef is I want to chop and boil. Then I'll put it in my freezer, ready for stewing. Here I have 2 whole chickens that I'll need to cut up, and then I will need to marinate for grilling, okay, and a few other things that I will show you. So that's the general lay of the land. So this first, as I said, is to deal with these ones because they're the ones that are going to take the longest, and then I'll deal with the meats because they've been out of the freezer for a while, and then I'll deal with the others. These beans I have soaked for 1 hour, so I'm just going to pour out this water and then put fresh water and boil them. I don't boil with the same water that I soaked them for 1 hour with. You know, it reduces the gassiness that you would have, and it really helps. Preferably, I like to soak them overnight when I have time. So I've set a timer for 5 minutes for those ones to boil, and then I'll remove them from the fire. I'll put the green grams to boil. Those ones don't need to be pre-boiled, so those ones will just cook. In the meantime, I want to put the meatballs into the air fryer, get them frying away, and then we get on with it. Technically, for it to be a real air frying moment, there needs to be space between the food that you're air frying for the hot air to circulate. But I'm wondering, what am I supposed to do with 3 meatballs sincerely? Okay, so I know someone is already typing, you cannot crowd food like that in an air fryer. I know, but sometimes you just work with the cards that you're dealt. Because now I know they're not supposed to be touching, but you know what? This is us making the best with what we have. They will still air fry. So these are boiled for 5 minutes. I want to remove them and put my green grams. These other ones as well. So just switch off that fire. For the beef, I just want to chop it and boil it, and I'll put it in the freezer once it's boiled. Then it will be just easier to stew it that way. When I'm buying chicken, as I've mentioned before, I prefer to buy the thighs and the drumsticks because, you know, everybody wants a drumstick. Nobody wants the back. Nobody wants the neck. Nobody wants whatever. But sometimes I find myself occasionally buying a whole chicken, and I'm so glad I learned how to cut it. Now it really used to stress me. So yeah, you know, you gotta do what you gotta do, man. So I am making good progress. Not the best, but good progress. I'm 2 hours in. My beef is ready. My meatballs are ready. My dengu is ready. The beans and the cowpeas are boiling. And I'm almost done with my chicken. So the chicken is very easy. I've divided it into 2 because I didn't want to sort of get confused of which part is which part. So each chicken went into its own dish. And so all I'm going to do is I'm going to put this into my bag, put in my marinade, shake, call it a day. Well, as far as the chicken is concerned, it's a 5-minute recipe. In fact, most of the work here is just cutting. So the marinade starts with olive oil, or whichever oil you have at hand. Then we have about 3 tablespoons of soy sauce. That's about it. Okay. 3 tablespoons of balsamic, but if yours is a dot like mine, you just, you know, do like that. Okay. Need to get more of that. Then we need 2 tablespoons of Worcestershire sauce. You can see how that is 2 tablespoons, right? We need some salt. I think because of the soy sauce and whatnot, you need to be careful with your salt. Brown sugar is what we need a bit more of. I'd say maybe slightly less than a 1/4 cup or a 1/4 cup, whatever your heart fancies. It's your recipe, it's your kitchen, it's your mouth. And lastly, some lemon juice. My lemons are straight from the fridge. Hey, hey. Keep saying I'll get one of those lemon squeezers. What is wrong with me? I should just get it. In fact, let me first squeeze my lemon in here because of all the seeds. I'd say maybe the juice of 1 lemon per chicken. And now we mix. Squeeze out all the air and zip it. Boom! Done and dusted. Very important for me to clean up as I go because I don't like a pile of dishes when I'm done preparing my meals. And especially, remember, I've just washed chicken, raw chicken and beef in the sink, and I'm about to start washing other vegetables. So very key to also make sure I give the sink a good scrub down. So I'm ready to get on with the tomato sauce. It's pretty easy because it's just onions, tomatoes, green peppers, and my ginger garlic paste. But it makes life a whole lot easier. So I'll just peel these and chop them up. Then start the frying process. This is another thing that should take about 10 minutes or so. In fact, the busiest part is just peeling and chopping and washing. But once I start cooking, I'm done. Yeah. Hey, this onion, see, they have decided. They have decided. And normally they don't affect me this way. I don't know what's happening. Wait. So the other thing I'm going to need are these tomatoes for the sauce. So I just want to first prepare them like this, wash them. Then we come and chop them up. So this tomato base that I want to cook is what is normally the first step I would do when I'm making dinner, if of course you've seen this in the freezer meal videos. I would fry this first, the onions, the tomatoes and the whatever, and then I add the beans or the chicken or the what. So I want to cook this fast. It will just make things faster during the week, so that when I'm ready to cook, I just put this in the pot, let it heat through, and then I'm adding the already boiled beans. Basically, I'll just assemble the things that I've already cooked. And then I'll chop up some carrots later. I like the carrots being crunchy, so I don't want to fry the carrots yet. If I had courgettes, I would also just chop them up and put them in the fridge or freezer as well, because those ones, they freeze well, so I can just add them. I can just assemble them as well to the meal. I'm also pre-boiling these peas, and I will later blanch the broccoli. Yeah, the whole essence is to just make cooking faster. If you're liking this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, because that really helps YouTube to know to promote this video to other people who might also be needing tips and tricks on how to meal prep and save time. And that really helps to grow our channel, you guys. And I'm always so grateful that you're here. Time to portion out these ingredients. I'm excited to see how much faster this is going to make meal preparation during the week. Let me know if this is something you would try, or whether you think this is faster than actually making the meal to the end. Behold the fruits of my labor. Yes. Let me show you what we have, okay? So here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bags of cowpeas, 1, 2, 3, 4 bags of beans, and 3 of dengu. I have my carrots chopped, my melons. I have 2 bags of, what are these called? Meatballs. I have 2 bags of chicken. I have my broccoli here. I have 2 containers of beef stew. I decided to just mix the beef together with the peas, because the peas were for the beef anyway, because of my ancestors. Yes. Here I have 2 containers of squash, butternut squash. Now these ones, I decided to put them like this because they freeze very well when they're chopped up in pieces, and they can even stay in the fridge for like 5-6 days. So we can make a stew out of this, we can make a soup out of this. We can add them to any of these dishes, like any of the vegetarian dishes, or any of even the meat dishes. If you just want to give it a bit of body, this would go very, very well, okay? And then here I have my base. Let me tell you the story of this base. I feel that I could have gotten a lot more units if I had much smaller containers. So if this is like a type of freezer meal that you'd like to try, I'd recommend you get smaller ones, because honestly this might look a little, but this is quite a lot for one meal. Okay, because imagine if I was to use this base to cook this beef stew. You see, it's not proportional. All right, this is way much more. This is probably enough for 2 meals, but as I said, I don't have smaller containers. So if you decide to go that way, you need to get smaller containers for your soup base. Yeah, and then here I decided to peel some of these pixies or tangerines. My idea of the pixies and the melons is to make making fruits in the morning much faster. And even if the kids are peckish during the day and they want something to eat, they can grab this or they can grab this. They don't have to look for someone to chop them up for them. So they can grab melon or pixies and they can grab a banana. Easy for them to make their own salad. So that was my idea there. So yeah, I have my own reservations about this type of making freezer meals, because I just feel like with just a little bit more effort, just 5% more effort, I would be looking at complete meals, like complete meals. But I do understand that not everyone wants to remove complete meals from the freezer, and that's why I decided to try this way. Let me know which style works for you, either this way of meal prepping or making freezer meals from scratch all the way to the end, just like I showed you in this video, which is what you should watch next. And I'll see you over there. Bye.